Queen of the Ring, okay. Writer, how was that experience for you? And did you do a lot of research, or this, you kind of already had the story in mind?
Well, it's based on a book, so I got the rights to the after reading the book. I reached out to the author and the family and got the rights to it. And most of what I adapted into the screenplay came from the book, The Queen of the Ring. So that was written by a Washington Post investigative journalist named Jeff Leen, who won a Pulitzer Prize for investigative journalism. But he wrote this great book called Queen of the Ring, which then led to the film that we got made.
Adaptations are very sensitive pieces of work, right? Because you want to stay true to the writer, but then give audience a different perspective that's very entertaining. How was that? How was that correlation for you?
It was honestly very challenging because it's the first time I ever adapted a book into a screenplay, and you fall in love with all these characters and all these scenes that are in the book, and then you get an emotional connection to them, and then you're trying to jam them all into a script, and then you start realizing, wow, I'm so close to the source material. I need to remember that most people have not read the book, and I just need to take what I want and not hold it so close. But it was very challenging to the point to where, we cut out almost an hour of scenes that we shot that were all fascinating moments of the book. But for, a film, especially an independent film, we had to pick and choose what we were going to include. And so it was pretty emotionally grueling. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was brutal. Like, all these things you want to include, and then just realizing, we just don't have the time. And now you got to, kill the babies, as they say, like in the editing room. And it was very, very sad. But I love what we made, and, getting it down to the runtime that we did. And it's been a massive learning experience for me as a filmmaker, specifically when it comes to true stories and adapting them, into screenplays. But yeah, it was no small feat. There's just so much great story in the book, and you want to give it to the audiences, but you're just constantly fighting the clock.
So there's always levels to when you're doing the film. There's pre-production, there's production, and then there's post, and then there's audience reaction. What is your favorite part of the process?
My favorite part, making it's obviously great, but my favorite part is watching it with an audience, sitting in the back of the room and seeing if, how the moments land with them, especially, my favorite moments, and if the audience feels what I feel. And that's honestly the biggest payoff, I think, is just being able to see, the art touch people and giving them that feeling. And with Queen of the Ring, especially with, the main event, and so many sports films, kind of live and die by if the ending pays off or not. And I think we really have that with this story, and it's done very well with audiences and the main event. So I'm really excited for a lot more people now to see it this weekend, that it's finally going to be available at home. But yeah, I think that's the most gratifying for me, is just seeing how it touches people with the finished, the finished actual film being played for audiences.
Being a writer, director, and having all these skills, what skill is the most transferable between this whole process? Because each process takes a load amount of patience and dedication, but what skill set it really hones in all levels?
I'm sorry, it was hard to make that out. Could you ask that again, please?
So what I'm asking is that, what trait or what skill translates between being a writer, a good director, and, in post and navigating the post production and the cutting room floor. What skill set do you think transfers the most?
I think probably the most important is making sure that the audience cares about your main character. Because no matter how great dialogue is, no matter how, beautiful or interesting a shot is, no matter how compelling a performance is, if an audience doesn't care about the main character that they're watching, it's hard to get them to enjoy the movie in general and to want to see it till the end. And so whether you're writing it on the page or you're directing it and telling the story visually, I think that's the most important part is making sure that the audience is on the ride of your main character and they care, that they want to know what happens next, and that they're feeling, emotions, and that there's stakes and that there's meaning to what's happening. So I would say that probably, at least in my opinion, is what's most important, is that can you get them to be engaged and to want to know more and to, be entertained, of course, but also be emotionally invested into the story.
Here's a deep cut. The Warrior Show. You were a writer, creator, director on that. What did you learn on that process there that you still take with you today?
Careful what you wish for. I love that show, and sadly, the Warrior kind of just had unrealistic expectations of what networks and people should be paying him to make it, and we had some great momentum, but it was just, I guess the lesson I learned from that is, make sure people have realistic expectations and that you have good paperwork in place for when you start, spending a lot of energy on something. And, bless Warrior's heart, he was my childhood hero. But he had a hard time with business and kind of, managing his own business and all of that. I'll just leave it at that. But, yeah, it was a great experience making it, and those 2 episodes I love that you brought that up. They have a special place in my heart, and rest in peace, Warrior, one of the greatest of all time.
I like the deep cuts because jogs people's memories, which is good. With that said, what should the audience expect from The Queen of the Ring, and why should they give that a chance? I mean, it's doing very well. It's got a 7.9 on IMDb, so it's pretty good.
All-American, true story, single mother, inspiring, shocking, beautiful, sexy, and entertaining. And it's a piece of American history that's long been forgotten, but is incredibly timely. And I just think you'll be well entertained, scene to scene, character to character. There's so much amazing, enchanting history in there, and there's a lot of great drama. And I hate comparing movies from each other, but I've had to learn how to do this because that's what Hollywood wants when you got 7 seconds. It's What's Love Got to Do with It meets A League of Their Own with a true story, Rocky ending. Queen of the Ring. Watch it this weekend.
Thank you so much, Ash, and thank you for your hard work. Good luck with your future endeavors and with The Queen of the Ring everywhere, streaming, not everywhere, but streaming right now. Thank you, Ash.